Wow, you guys look great. How about the students look good this morning or what? You guys should dress like this every day. No, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Utica City School District and John F. Kennedy Middle School, I would like to welcome everybody, students, faculty, staff, administration, Board of Education members, family, friends, and loved ones, to the second of 4 moving up ceremonies this morning. This morning we will be honoring 55 students as they finish their 8th grade education and move on to 9th grade. So welcome everybody. As you know, this is the first event on school grounds in almost 16 months, maybe a little bit more than that. We're very happy that everybody could come. Nobody probably envisioned that 3 months ago we would be able to sit here today and to honor our students, and we're so glad that you could come. I'm Mr. Clark, I'm the principal at JFK, and before we begin, I would like to extend a few thank yous. First, thank you to our superintendent, Mr. Karam, along with our board members, Mr. Louis Lapola, who's on stage with us here, Mr. Salatino, Mr. Hobaika, Mr. Dawes, Mr. Cardillo, Mr. Anthony Lapola, and Mrs. Padula, along with our district administration for their oversight, guidance, and support of our school programming over the last year. Give them a round of applause if you would. This was not an easy year for anybody, especially from the top down. Thank you to all of our JFK faculty and staff for their support of our students this year, including all the people involved in the setup of this event, including Mr. Hajar, Mr. Ferraro, all of our maintenance staff, our support staff in the building, and the teachers with you today for their work. Give them a round of applause if you would. A huge thank you to the parents. Parents, you probably didn't learn as much as you learned in the last year about teaching, because there was a lot that went into this year, and we're very thankful for everything you did for our students to keep them going and to keep them logged on, to keep them working every day in what was a very difficult school year. And let's give our parents, students, give your mom and dad and your family members a round of applause if you would. Finally, most importantly, the biggest thank you goes to our students. Students, over the last 16 months, you have had to become independent learners and forced to grow up quickly. You have learned technical skills and applications that have made you 21st century learners and perfected life skills that will serve you well at Proctor High School next year and in the years beyond. So we're so proud of you. Good job. At this time, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Mr. Louis Lapola. Mr. Lapola is the president of the Utica City School District Board of Education. During this time, Mr. Lapola has provided key leadership and managerial expertise to benefit all aspects of the district's operation. Formerly, Mr. Lapola served as the mayor of Utica for several terms spanning 12 years. His interest and expertise in public affairs and service to the students of the Utica City School District is unsurpassed. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Louis Lapola.
So as we adjust the mic, Mr. Clark is so tall. Welcome everybody, students, parents, friends, family, and certainly Ms. Morose and Ms. Albanese, along with the staff, the security people, and those people who are important in the operation of JFK. You know, I think Mr. Clark stated that this was a tough school year for all of us, for the superintendent, the principal, the teachers, the parents, the students. And We have been through unprecedented time in chartered waters and certainly unclear direction from many of our government officials. Wear a mask, you can't wear a mask, you gotta have so many people, stay 6 feet apart. All kinds of rules, and there were always conflicting rules. But we have reached a point of an in-person graduation, of which the students deserve. You know, there's something about receiving a certificate in front of family and friends rather than just remote. It means a lot, and we worked hard to ensure your success and that you would remember this day for years to come. You know, life is a big adventure, and it never follows a guidebook. We never know what's going to happen tomorrow. You've dealt with the unexpected. Some people want to know what's going to happen, and other people might not want to know. But I think there's a number of thank you in order. To the superintendent of schools, this man, Mr. Karen, oversees 13 schools and almost over 11,000 students. And when you compare that with, say, New York Mills, which has a total enrollment of about 483, that's leadership. That's guidance from our superintendent. And Mr. Clark's only just got to know his staff and the parents. He's only been here a year and a half, and 16 months was during the pandemic. And thank you, everyone, for making him feel at home. For someone who's very compassionate, caring, and dedicated toward the JFK building. So the board working together, you know, working together means we have tried hard to keep things on schedule, on target, and to get our kids back as soon as possible. Sometimes decisions weren't understood, but in the long run, we had to make sure that our students were safe and healthy if they came into this JFK building. To the teachers, and really in this whole pandemic crisis, they're the unsung heroes. They had to teach remote and in person, some of them at the same time, under some very difficult situations. And you know, the other day I was at an elementary school. They were asking the children, well, what would you like to do when you graduate college? Well, I want to be a doctor, and I want to be a lawyer, and I want to be an architect, I want to be a scientist. And no one said they wanted to be a teacher. And that's what we're in for, because teachers are the unsung heroes. And I can understand why, because the pay is low and the burden of work is high for our teachers. They are responsible for getting your children through this very turbulent year. But I look out and I see the parents. I thank them for their patience and understanding. I thank the grandparents, the cousins, the uncles, the aunts, the friends that kept these young people online so they can graduate today. Remember, they missed a lot. They missed their clubs, their friends, and all the things that go with attending middle school. But most of all, you have to thank the students, because you are willing to accept the unexpected. And in life, your parents will tell you, there are going to be a lot of things that you can't plan for. They're going to be unexpected. And you have to deal with those things if you want to get through it with yourself and your families and everyone else involved. You know, happiness is there if you let it be. Some days I think you have to create your own sunshine. You have to think there are better days ahead. And I think that's extremely important. But the most important thing is to never stop believing. You're going to Proctor. Proctor's going to open their arms and ask if you're happy there. You're going to make new friends, clubs. You're going to go to classes. And sometimes you say, I don't know if I really like Proctor. But on the other hand, this is part of life. Never stop believing because all things are possible. So I want to thank Mr. Clark for inviting me today. I just hope that the students, you look back and you see this full house of parents. Parents who are pretty proud of you today, that they took time enough, days off, just to attend your moving up ceremony. And for those that aren't here, well, there must be a reason, and it's not for us to judge. Stay well, stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless.
Thanks, Mr. Lapola. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we are going to give students the certificates. So students, get ready. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will present the members of the JFK class of 2021. Mr. Streppel is here. Mr. Streppel will be taking photographs for everybody, okay? He's a professional photographer. They're going to be the best, and we'll have those to you in a couple of weeks so that you'll have a good piece of memorabilia from today. And also, Mrs. Roberts is videoing the ceremony today. The video, along with the slideshow that we showed before the ceremony, will be available on the school website tomorrow. Okay, so I just wanted to let you know that also. Okay? All right, here we go. Who's first up? Radames Emmanuel Jr. Anayalyn Irvin. Idris Falak. Andrea Febo. Darylise Figueroa Velazquez. Gianna Fiore. Olivia Flo. Julian Fabs. Julian's got a rowing section back there. Kevin Ganza. Ana Alicia Gonzalez. Rowan Gagnon. Lillian Green. Brennan Gregory. Johnny Grimes. Ariana Guzman Gerstner. Alana Hawkins. Tyler Hocking. Shamir Hopkins. Ashley Hauk. Chris Tu. Jason Jones. Trayvon Jones. Freddie Lang Jr. Anaya Lewis. Caitlin Lewis. Shiny Love. A.P.Way. DeMarco Mack. Ashari Malloy. Mateus Malloy. Anthony Marino. Bianca Marino. Joseph Marino. Marion Haji. Shi K. Lar. Layla Hussein. Marquise Hill. A. Claire Lay. Imani Martinez. Jerome Mathis Jr. Israel Matos Jr. Chi Mong Mong. Finally, but last but not least, Hassan Maburwa. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for all of our graduates? Students, please stand if you would. Mr. Curry, Mr. LaPola, members of the school board, and Mr. Fauci, as building principal of John F. Kennedy Middle School, I hereby attest that these students have met state and district requirements and have successfully completed their 8th grade education here at John F. Kennedy Middle School. All of these students have earned all rights, responsibilities, and privileges to be promoted to 9th grade at Proctor High School. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the John F. Kennedy class of 2021. Turn around and look at your parents, remember? That's it. The first group is louder than you guys. Congratulations, students. You can have a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, I did want to give some brief comments before we finish today. We have great kids here at JFK. I'm proud and honored to be the principal at JFK and really have enjoyed getting to know the students over the last 3 months. I have been continually impressed with how polite, fun-loving, respectful, well-meaning, and friendly our students have been as we have moved to in-person learning. This has been a heartbreaking year for those of us who care about kids and have watched as our students have had to sit home for over a year with little or no interaction in the way that a 12 or 13-year-old should have to do. At the same time, these students have inspired me during this time. Students have become 21st century learners. You guys probably didn't think you learned anything this year, did you? Listen to this list. Our students have been compliant, resourceful, adaptable, and have become technology experts and can do things as students that we as adults cannot do. They have learned things such as Zoom, Google Meet, Google Classroom, Whiteboard, Buzz, Smartboard, YouTube, Chromebooks, adaptive software, hybrid learning, remote learning, differentiated instruction, synchronous learning, Wi-Fi, MiFi, Nearpod, chat boards, digital readiness, logging on, logging off, restarting, refreshing, updating software, Study Sync, Mathia, iReady, Kahoot, Kami, Jamboard. Do you want me to keep going? That's a lot, isn't it? This is just touching the edge of the educational iceberg. Chances are, students, you all obviously know this. Parents, you probably do not know what all these things are. Students, as you become 21st century learners, that gap between you and your parents will continue, which will give you a great advantage as you go to college and look for jobs in the coming years. I have also been astounded at how cooperative our students have been during the time we have come back to school in the last few months, following very strict health and safety rules. We soon hope to never hear words again like social distancing, masks, sanitizer wipes, pandemics, contact tracing, symptom questionnaires, hybrid learning, visors, rapid testing, and temperature checks. Are you guys with me on that one? Okay. Students missed out on time to interact, participate in after-school activities, and the fun things that are part of school. Students, you need to work on the following things going forward: collaboration and verbal communication, unplugging, getting involved, talking instead of typing, joining activities, getting outside, socializing, and reconnecting with friends and families, person to person. Students learned how to complete an almost completely an education online this year. As you know, almost all colleges and training programs nowadays offer complete remote degrees, and many workplaces are now offering employees to work remotely. Students, you can now do almost anything from a phone or a Chromebook as it relates to your education. You can submit assignments in endless amounts of ways. You can research from an endless amount of resources, talk to text, browse the net, translate any two languages almost instantaneously, check your Google Classroom, video chat or tutor virtually with anyone at any time from anywhere around the world. You can access any picture, document, song, file that you've ever created. You can also read books, take tests, and self-diagnose your math skills or any abilities that you have. You can now do anything to get your work done and to complete your education. There are no restrictions or boundaries on you achieving whatever you want. You can do your homework now on your phone or Chromebook at Walmart, and class assignments and resources are always available to you at any time, 24/7. Finally, I'll finish with 4 words of advice, okay? As you know or may not know, I was a guidance counselor at Proctor for 10 years before I came here, so I'm going to give you 4 things to remember as you go off to Proctor next year. Number 1, go to school every day. Attendance is the key to success in life and the key to success in high school. It also is one of the most fun times of your life. Pretty soon you'll be working, going to college, and will have families of your own. Don't miss out on the fun times and try new things. Proctor has endless amounts of activities that will reconnect you to friends. Number 2, be nice to others. There's nothing more important than keeping goodness in your heart and being polite, nice, and respectful. The world will treat you well if you treat others the way you would like to be treated. Number 3, do your best and don't quit when things get tough. If you can handle the last 16 months of your life, you are tough enough to handle just about anything that life will give you. Number 4, don't change. You are great just the way you are, and I am proud to be your principal and proud of all that you have accomplished, and I'm glad to have worked with you even if it was just for a short time. In the years ahead, I will be interested to check your progress and to hear good things about you as you go on to Proctor High School. That concludes the principal's comments. I'm done. Students, I wish you well next year. I think you guys are all going to do great. We got a great group of kids here, and you're going to do well there. So don't get afraid because it's a big building. Just do what I just said and you'll be fine, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, students want to stand up if you would. We're going to stretch our legs here. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for the John F. Kennedy class of 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our ceremony. Students will now dismiss. Family, friends, and loved ones, the students will be along the bus circle here on the side of the building. Thank you all for coming and enjoy your parties and festivities that are well deserved. Thank you.